As halftime neared, tension crackled through the tunnel like static electricity. One of the most intense quarters in Indiana Fever history had just ended. But behind closed doors, things were already falling apart. With her jaw clenched and eyes like daggers, Caitlin Clark stormed toward the bench. Clipboard in hand, Coach Stephanie White trailed right behind, shouting instructions over the roar of the crowd. Then it happened. Even without audio, the fury was unmistakable. Visibly frustrated, Clark whirled around mid-step and confronted her head coach face to face. Assistant coaches froze as she shook her head, pointed at the court, and snapped. This wasn't theatrical drama. It was pure raw frustration. This wasn't some diva throwing a tantrum. This was an elite competitor demanding leadership, freedom, and clear answers. Hit subscribe if you want the raw truth instead of the watered-down story. If you are here for the next real moment, stick around. Anyone following her from the packed arenas of Iowa to record-breaking WNBA turnouts knows she does not sugarcoat a single thing. She plays like she is rewriting the rule book on the fly, bold, loud, and direct. But what happened next felt entirely different. This was bigger than a bad quarter or a missed defensive assignment. It was about the future and whether the Fever would let Caitlin Clark be herself. Let's be real, Clark did not join the WNBA to play a supporting role. She did not dominate college basketball for 4 years just to get iced out or told to slow down while veterans burn the clock. People pay to see her signature style, the deep threes, the flashy no passes, and the fast breaks off a defensive board. But since landing in Indiana, she has been walking on eggshells. On one side, you have the old-school mindset, sluggish, low-scoring games, grinded-out half-court sets, and plays designed strictly for 10-year veterans. Coach White is comfortable with that style. She does not care about 35-foot logo shots or flashy transition plays. Her goal is control, discipline, and running the offense through seasoned players. Clark, however, wants chaos, high-tempo space, and the freedom to create on the fly. She is a visionary, not reckless, and that brief halftime snap spoke volumes. This frustration had been building for weeks. The blown cuts, slow rotations, and plays where Kelsey Mitchell forced tough mid-range shots while Clark stood totally ignored. Her irritation was more than emotional. It was strategic. She reads the court 3 steps ahead, but the system holds her back like dead weight. But when the third quarter started, everything changed. Clark walked back onto the court with fire in her eyes. It was like a switch flipped. She drilled 3 deep triples in under 5 minutes, transforming instantly from playmaker to absolute assassin. Coach White sat quietly on the bench as the home crowd went absolutely nuclear. The moment Clark took the reins, the change was obvious. Suddenly the ball was flying around. Her teammates set harder screens, cut with purpose, and found open space. Finally, Natasha Howard stopped fighting the flow and adapted to her speed. Even Kelsey Mitchell adjusted, feeding Clark on a fast break rather than forcing a tough shot. After a 30-point quarter, they actually looked like a playoff contender instead of a disorganized middle-of-the-pack team. Predictably, the post-game press conference was a maze of coach speak. White shrugged it off, saying they adjusted. No one mentioned the clash. They ignored what everyone saw on national TV, calling it a good second-half effort. But Clark did not dance around the issue. Looking straight at the reporter, she said, "We are trying to build something, which means tough conversations. I want to win." Translation: she is not here to play nice. She is here to lead. And she is absolutely right. If the Fever want to win, they must give her the keys. She is their top scorer, floor general, and playmaker. Most of all, she is their ticket to a modern identity in a rapidly evolving league. Speed and spacing are replacing old-school tactics, and Clark brings both. But this transition will not be easy. There are still veterans in that locker room who feel they have paid their dues. Some coaches still believe structure equals safety, while traditional media critics mistake her confidence for pure arrogance. But here is the truth. You cannot build a dynasty on hesitation. Great franchises are built on vision, courage, and letting stars shape the culture. And culture is exactly what is at stake. This goes way beyond simple play calls and stats. Are the Indiana Fever ready to ride with Caitlin Clark into a new era, or will they remain stuck in mediocrity, weighed down by outdated schemes and veteran egos? The fans have already made their decision. They chant her name every single night. Her jerseys fly off the shelves and national broadcasts highlight her every move on the court. She is not just a rookie. She is a revolution. And every revolution starts when the star player finally says what everyone else is thinking. Enough is enough. Let me lead. That halftime clash was just the spark, but a much bigger fire is spreading across Indiana and the entire league. Make no mistake, when Caitlin Clark stood up to her coach, she was speaking for everyone. She spoke for every single athlete held back from greatness by a system that is just too rigid to bend. For every rookie told to fall in line instead of taking action. And for every superstar ordered to shut up and follow. This is bigger than a simple power struggle. In women's basketball, a massive culture war between old school and new school is heating up. Stephanie White represents that classic generation of coaches who built success on rigid discipline, relentless repetition, and fixed playbooks. To be fair, that style actually worked back in the early 2000s when the league desperately needed order and eyes. It worked back then. Playing it safe and cutting down mistakes was how you earned respect. But the 2025 WNBA is another world. Fans want more than just wins. They want flair. They want superstars. They want 30-foot daggers that blow up social media in real time, packed with speed and attitude. They want to feel something again. And Caitlin Clark gives them that raw feeling every single game. She is not a perfect player. Far from it. Even diehard fans hold their breath during her wild heat checks. But you know what she does? The second she touches the ball, she instantly puts the defense on high alert. She spots open passes before they even develop, elevating her teammates, her opponents, and the entire league. That is why this clash with her coach matters so much. This is not about disrespect. It is about alignment. Right now, Caitlin Clark is playing like a generational superstar trapped in a basic role-player system. You can see it in their body language and the game's rhythm. Whenever the tempo slows, the offense completely stalls. Another possession dies in the corner, leaving Clark standing there with her palms up. And don't think this is just a one-aim fluke. We are looking at a real trend. The divide is widening between a visionary player and a franchise that is too hesitant to keep up. Now, let's talk about the locker room because that viral footage makes it obvious not everyone is ready for this era. The roster has veterans who feel they earned the right to call the shots. Take Kelsey Mitchell, who was the face of the Fever for years. You can clearly feel the tension in her game. The isolation plays, the bad passes, and clashing tempos. It's generational, not personal. And this isn't just an Indiana Fever problem. This drama happens every single time a hyped rookie joins a team full of seasoned veterans. Ego's pride and the fear of getting replaced are always there. But here is the hard cold truth. The Fever have to choose vision over comfort if they want to win. Clark is that vision and everyone must adapt. When she calls for the ball, they need to pass it to her. That means coaching her, not restraining her. It means building the system around her unique strengths instead of forcing her to change just to fit someone else's mold. And the front office has to stop playing both sides. Right now, Indiana is caught in the middle. Trying to cash in on the hype Clark brings while desperately keeping veterans happy is just not sustainable. If you do not build around her generational talent, you risk watching her walk when her rookie contract is up. And let's be real, she has options. She is already a global icon who can leave Indiana and still dominate endorsements and headlines. But if she stays, it has to be because the roster was built for her, not the other way around. We also have to talk about how that halftime clash shook the entire league. The video exploded instantly across social media with podcasts, TikTok edits, and sports debate shows all spinning completely different stories. Some paint Clark as an ungrateful rookie who refuses to respect authority. Others see her as a breath of fresh air, finally demanding real accountability and clear direction. But one thing is completely undeniable. She moved the needle yet again. This is where it gets interesting because that kind of cultural gravity brings both massive opportunity and heavy responsibility. Clark isn't just shaping her team's identity. She is completely rewriting how women's basketball is coached, covered, and viewed by the world. She is proving that WNBA players can have strong voices, drive, and opinions. And that is leadership, not diva behavior. Think about how we cover NBA players. When Luka Doncic yells at Jason Kidd, we do not even blink. We accept that clash as a normal part of high-level competition. But when Caitlin Clark does the same thing, it dominates the news. It is called a scandal. Disrespect. Clark is facing a massive double standard, but that pushback is inevitable from traditional coaches who feel threatened to media pundits who expect rookies to just stay quiet and grateful. Even from fans who want her to stay in her lane, but she doesn't have a lane, she is building a highway. And the irony is since that clash, the Fever are actually playing much better basketball. The offense is flowing, the pace has picked up, players are moving without the ball, and the team is scoring with ease. It's almost a shock. Turns out your team gets a lot better when you actually trust your generational playmaker. Here is what comes next. The Indiana Fever need to have some hard conversations if they actually want to win games, not just sell tickets and get clicks. They must decide if Stephanie White is truly the right coach to lead this team forward. They need to figure out if stubborn veterans belong in this core. Since nobody thrives in limbo, they must give Caitlin Clark the ultimate freedom and support she needs. Either you go down as the team that wasted her talent, or you empower your superstar. Following Caitlin Clark's heated exchange with her coach, let's look at the ripple effect. That was bigger than just a fever problem. That live broadcast put the whole league on notice. Head coaches and general managers across the WNBA had to sit up and ask one simple question. Are we next? Because when a superstar with Clark's massive numbers and cultural influence takes that kind of control, she shifts the entire gravity of the league. She isn't just playing a game. She is actively rewriting the power dynamic. This goes way beyond basketball. Let's be completely real. This is about branding, media, and pure attention economics. Every single time Caitlin Clark hits a new city, jerseys sell out and ticket prices skyrocket. Suddenly, local news stations that haven't covered women's basketball in 10 years are rushing to send camera crews. She is the first athlete in years who moves whole markets, not just the basketball. Her power reaches far beyond the court. Sponsors and league execs hang on her every word, whether she's speaking at a press conference or sparking a heated halftime debate. Just look at how Indiana Fever games are packaged now. They are broadcast in prime time and major ESPN shows are leading their segments with WNBA talk. It is not because the media suddenly noticed how great this league is. It is because Caitlin Clark makes it impossible to ignore. And what about corporate partnerships? Do you honestly think Nike gave a rookie her own signature shoe line just because she can shoot deep three-pointers? No. They move forward because she brings high-stakes drama and a compelling, undeniable storyline. Marketers love drama. That heated halftime confrontation didn't hurt her brand one bit. It actually built it. It proved she isn't just here to smile for the cameras. She is here to win. And that is a story you can sell. But this also raises the stakes for the Fever organization. You now have a superstar who changes your entire financial outlook, not just the nightly box score. If you fail to maximize that, you aren't just letting her down. You are failing your sponsors, your investors, and your fans by running outdated offensive schemes that hold her back. And speaking of fans, let's look at the entirely new crowd Caitlin is drawing in. She is pulling in casual viewers alongside the diehards. College sports fans who never watched women's professional basketball are suddenly tuned in, obsessed with the stats and the sheer energy, which is awesome because this league has always deserved a much bigger spotlight. Ready or not, Caitlin is dragging the mainstream along. But all these new eyes bring major expectations. Fans expect fast-paced drama, expressive personalities, spectacular highlight plays, and fluid motion offenses. They do not want 30-second shot clock grinds ending in forced jumpers or 17 straight post-ups. They want real speed. They want flair. They want to see their superstar empowered. That is why the Fever's outdated style feels so out of touch. You have a league that is finally stepping into the spotlight paired with a franchise that keeps dimming the lights. That has to change. Other players around the league are closely watching what Caitlin Clark just did in Indiana. Let's zoom out. Think about second-year forwards stuck behind aging veterans or talented young guards trapped on rebuilding rosters. They are watching how Caitlin uses her voice and how her team responds. If the Fever adjust their offense and coaching to back her up, it will spark a brand new era of player empowerment. Other superstars will start demanding systems that fit them. Not because they are conceited, but because Caitlin just proved that it is completely possible. But if the Fever ignore her, burying her talent in bad spacing and prehistoric play calling, they set a highly dangerous precedent. It sends a message to other rookies to shut up and stay small. That would be an absolute tragedy for the league. Do not fall for the myth that Caitlin Clark is a unicorn. She is merely the first wave. The pipeline is absolutely loaded. Look at Juju Watkins, Paige Boers, and Hannah Halgo. And these young women are not going to play nice just to fit in. They grew up watching LeBron James call the shots in Los Angeles. They watched Steph Curry completely revolutionize an entire offense. They know systems are built around stars, not the other way around. The WNBA has a massive choice to make. Adapt to this new generation or risk losing them completely. Not just on the court but in the culture. Now let's look at head coach Stephanie White again. To be fair, she is a great coach and a first-class person, but sometimes that traditional mindset is the exact problem. Old-school coaches often rely on what worked decades ago. When they watch high-speed modern basketball, they only see chaos. They look at logo three-pointers and see a lack of discipline. They hear players shouting in huddles and see disrespect. But they are missing the evolution of modern leadership. Clark's halftime outburst was never about her ego. It was pure urgency. It was her way of saying, "Let us play and we will win." Leadership can get messy and emotional, but it has to be genuine. If Coach White can't accept that, this team will keep losing the locker room one star at a time. People aren't talking about this enough. Clark's blowout might have actually saved the Fever season. Sometimes things have to break before you can truly fix them. Sometimes the quiet parts have to be said out loud. That's what Clark did. She exposed the tension everyone was already feeling. Now with the franchise out of excuses, they finally have a clear path forward. They've seen what happens when they play Clark's way. You score 99 points, the floor opens up, the offense flows, you get real results. But what will they do with that? Just sweep it under the rug? They might eventually build a system around her. Whatever they decide right now will shape this franchise for the next 3 years. Here is the scary part. The next time Clark snaps, it might not even happen on the court. Superstars don't wait around forever. Next time it could be an off-season meeting or a sudden trade demand. Not in today's league. Not when players know their worth, and definitely not with the whole world watching. You're sitting courtside, the crowd is electric, the cameras are rolling, and then right before halftime, bang. Sudden thick tension fills the air. This is way beyond a standard disagreement or a simple misunderstanding. It's a clash. The face of the rising WNBA, Caitlin Clark, is screaming at head coach Stephanie White, and everyone is watching. This doesn't feel like a one-off. It looks like months of boiling pressure, wasted potential, and a massive clash of styles. It is like they are playing two completely different sports out there. This isn't just about a single game. Let's be real. This is about identity. Who actually runs the Indiana Fever? The generational star rewriting the rules, or the old-school coach sticking to structure? Behind closed doors, those quiet whispers are turning into serious drama. League insiders say Clark has tried speaking up in team meetings for weeks, pushing for a faster, high-tempo style of play. She has shared ideas on floor spacing and player rotations, calling out their slow transition game, but mostly she got nothing but crickets. Sources claim the boiling point came when Coach White benched Clark during a critical fourth-quarter play. Supposedly it was just to give her a breather. But as the offense sputtered yet again, everyone saw Clark on the bench with her jaw clenched, arms crossed, avoiding all eye contact. Is this the beginning of an all-out locker room mutiny? You have to wonder. Here is where things get even more interesting. It's becoming crystal clear that Clark is not fighting this battle alone. The younger players and rookies who watched her dominate at Iowa are quietly backing her vision for the team. They want fast transition play, less isolation, better ball movement, and a modern offense built on data and analytics. Reports say one assistant coach even confessed the truth to a colleague. We are trying to drive our 21st century Ferrari like a 90s Buick. No disrespect intended to Stephanie White. While she is a highly respected basketball mind, the clash in styles is undeniable. Indiana's pace ranks near the bottom of the league. Yet, when you let Clark run the show, the offense explodes. The numbers are screaming the exact truth that Clark is too frustrated to say out loud. But inside the locker room, things are freezing over. Clark reportedly called out a teammate after another wasted fast break opportunity. The teammate fired back, telling her, she isn't the only player on this squad. The mood shifted instantly. Side eyes everywhere. Total silence. It was a massive turning point for the team. A quiet line was drawn between veterans clinging to their seniority and those embracing Clark as the future. You would think a 99-point masterclass against Dallas would quiet the doubters. Instead, critics called it a total fluke. Others claim she just padded her stats. But watch the tape. When she runs the floor, it's undeniable. The Fever don't just look like a playoff-caliber squad. They actually look like they're having fun. Chemistry is building with rookies like Victoria Saxton and Lexi Hull. Quick decisions, rapid pace, and constant off-ball motion. This is the style that fills arenas and dominates highlight reels. It is a real winning strategy, not hype. Things are just as tense off the court. Clark's camp is staying professional, but behind the scenes, anxiety is soaring. They aren't demanding special treatment. They are simply asking for common sense. You build the system around a generational point guard. You do not make them fit into one. Rumors of a coaching change are already swirling in the media. Would the front office actually pull the trigger? Do they have the guts? The Fever publicly backs Stephanie White, but behind closed doors the pressure is immense. Crowds are surging and the merch is flying off the shelves. At long last, the team has the national spotlight. Can they keep up this momentum, or will internal drama bring it to a grinding halt? Plus, the fan base is louder, more divided, and more active than ever. Clark's loyal supporters are incredibly fierce. They argue she is more than the face of the Fever. She is the future of the league. And they are right. Every time she steps on the court, TV ratings skyrocket. Not since Sue Bird or Diana Taurasi has a single player pushed the WNBA so deep into the mainstream. But critics argue she is way too demanding, insisting she wait her turn and earn her stripes before going head-to-head with a coach on national television. Let's be real, that criticism smells like pure fear. A total dread of change, fear of the new. There is a deep worry that her massive star power is shattering an old system built purely on seniority and the status quo. In these debates, Paige Bueckers' name always surfaces. But despite Bueckers' quiet strength and textbook efficiency, Clark did not just outscore her in their matchup. She completely ruled the court. Buecker is amazing, but Clark is truly transformational. Still, this rivalry is only just beginning. Bueckers' post-game interview was cool and composed, but carried a sharp edge. She noted, "They got us today, but we will see them again." There was a quiet determination, promising fireworks next time, but zero bad blood. Fans are absolutely ready. Buecker versus Clark could easily become the league's most iconic matchup. A clash built on pure basketball genius. Two unique legacies and paths are being forged in real time. Back in Indiana, the Fever front office faces a defining choice. Do they back their coach and risk alienating the star driving their success, or overhaul the system to give Clark the support, freedom, and modern setup she needs to thrive? They cannot do both. The fence is gone. Half measures are no longer an option. Truth is, this outburst was more than just some emotional venting. It was a line drawn in the sand. Caitlin Clark is tired of compromising. She is tired of being held back, done playing nice just to spare other egos. Her goals are simple: to win, to lead, and to completely change the game. Just maybe this sudden spark is exactly the catalyst the team needs, because sometimes you have to burn away the dead weight to start fresh. One thing is clear: Caitlin Clark is finished waiting no matter what happens next, whether Coach White adapts or goes, or Clark has to survive another mismatched season. As for the WNBA, things are getting wild. Tell us your thoughts in the comments. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update.